Over to you.
Thank you very much. So I have a slideshow here for you today, and I will try to make up some time maybe and go through these slides quite quickly. But as I understand, it will be possible to download this later if I'm too quick. So, and also questions after, of course. Welcome.
I'll take it.
Coffee breaks are always good. So, I work for TRAXON Technologies, which is a company within the Osram Group. The brand today is TRAXON EQ. It's including two companies actually. So I will just quickly go through some slides about the company. Then I will show you one product only as an example. And then I will show you 12 showcases, projects that we did. Because that's always the easiest way to understand. Then you maybe don't want to copy other projects and light designs, but still it's a good way to understand the vision and the ideas. So, TRAXON is not very old, 95, from Germany. EQ Lighting Control was a separate company from 2001. Joined forces, and later on, 2009, we were bought by Osram. So the future is going straight up here after we are included in a big organization. So we are now together with Cederquist and Cilium. We have a lot of stuff in common that we can offer globally. And globally, yes, we have global presence in 68 countries, which is very important for us because many light designs are made in Europe and in London, as an example. But the project isn't actually in Europe always. So we need global presence. I joined this business 2007 from the beginning. So I'm not from the lighting industry from the beginning. I joined 2007, and I always say I joined from the start because of this ugly downlight. Because 2007, the first downlights with warm white light came to Sweden, at least as far as I know. I still remember that day when that downlight came and we brought it to the biggest wholesaler in Sweden, and we were sitting like a table looking at this downlight, and we were amazed about the light. So a lot of stuff had happened since then. But then I joined TRAXON 2011, and me with my name and the company name gives me the impossible email address. So please send me an email. I am here in the west coast of Sweden, located here. I have a project manager, a technical guy who helps me here in Copenhagen. And we are covering 8 countries altogether. That doesn't sound very easy, right? But we have, luckily, Osram colleagues spread all over the region, and we also have these red dots represents the project partners that we have. So we have local project partners who helps us realize the projects that we work with. So here on Iceland, it's Johan Olofsson, if you haven't noticed that already, with the products over in the city hall. They have been an Osram partner since many, many years, so it's a very good contact for us here at Iceland. So any questions to my impossible email address or to Johan Olofsson team, very welcome. So what do all these people do? I mean, project partners, Osram people, me and my project manager in Denmark, we search for projects. We want to be involved in projects as early as possible in the process, together with the light designers and architects, and we want to offer a solution. We have a lot of products that we want to sell, of course, because it's all about being profitable and we need to make money somewhere. But we need to offer a solution that the customer wants. So that's the main goal. We offer everything from support to the light design to after services. We offer anything in between except the actual installation. That's out of our business. We don't have an organization for that. So quickly, one product. We have these product groups where we divide different types of products into. I'm going to show you this product just as an example. But I need to mention also that all these products that you see here, coming from TRAXON Technologies, are all developed for a project in the past. So we don't design a product first and then we try to sell it. We find a project that needs a solution and we design a product and we sell it, and then if it's a good product, we will keep it in our basket and in our toolbox for the next project or future projects. That's actually one example here, this cove light, which is not designed for a project. That is the only example here that is designed looking at our competitors who sell a lot of these and make a lot of money on these. So that one is an example where we made it to be competitive. All the others are designed for projects. This is an example, the non-aligner Allegro AC, latest generation. Standard RGB setup with red, green and blue LEDs offers you a lot of combinations of colors. You can also have the opportunity to adjust the color temperatures with a dynamic white fixture. It's individual, controllable by DMX, dimmable to 0% all the way down, flicker free, absolutely flicker free, thanks to constant current dimming all the way down to 0%. So it's no problem to use it, for example, in a environment with cameras. It could be sports arenas where you have high definition television cameras that have a frame rate and you absolutely don't want any flicker. Or security cameras, maybe outside a bank or whatever. And the last feature here is also great with the latest generation of products because it's almost linear power savings. That means if you dim it down to say 50%, it consumes maybe 52, 53% of the energy coming from 100%. So compared to the first generations of LED fixtures and compared to other light sources, this is a great feature that we try to take benefit of as much as possible. So if you have that dynamic fixture, that dynamic product, you will need some type of control system. And we offer all types of control system, from the easiest plug-and-play terminal that you put on the wall and plug it in and control your fixture, to anything more sophisticated and more complex. And if you then add to your dynamic product some triggers, then you're talking about something going really dynamic. And it's almost limited by your imagination these days. I will give you some examples. First of all, the triggers, I mean, an astro clock and a light sensor and a motion sensor, those are standard sensors that you use for anything these days. Temperature also. RSS feeds. What is that? Information coming from the internet. Could be anything. Normally weather data or time zone data or news. Sound sensors, microphones, touch, Bluetooth. we did a project many years ago at the London Bridge actually, where Bluetooth sensors were mounted on the red buses of London, and as soon as a red bus passed the bridge, the light turned on or moved around. So there's so many different things you can do these days. I will show you this video here from Manchester. This is the Children's Hospital in Manchester, where this art piece is outside called Anyone Who Has a Heart. It blinks and shows you your pulse if you pull the handles. So there's some kind of pulse sensor in this one. And there's also infrared beams around it, so if anybody gets close, it will do some random effects. And if you go close and touch the handles, it will show you your pulse. This was some kind of art piece they did for this children's hospital, and children love it. There's some music to this, but I will also show this arena in Peru. Even though it's far away, it's a good example. But before that, some international showcases, just to go in the right order here. We did the Christ statue in Rio, where Osram actually experimented with a lot of features before it was replaced by these LED fixtures. And what Johan talked about before, the spill light going out to space. You can see the city in the background here. That was one of the features that they experimented with. The LED fixtures are so spotty in this installation now, and they are aimed towards different parts of the statue. So the spill light was reduced from the old situation down to 20%. So the LED fixtures had 20% spill light compared to the older ones. And that's also a big part of the power savings. There's no use to shoot those expensive light beams across the besides the statue to the sky. Another international project which were very good for us in media the last couple of years, Eurovision Song Contest, showed this very much on the televisions, even though it was designed and specified far before Azerbaijan won the Eurovision before. So we worked on this project for 5 years, and it was finalized just before the Eurovision. Later, if you download this presentation, there are links here to YouTube, so you can see videos if we don't have time to watch them all, so I'm flipping through here a bit. The Crystal Hall was also for the Eurovision Song Contest, where Sweden won, by the way. And Norway finished last, I think. It's very important for us in Sweden. And then we had the football European Championship, where we had this great opportunity to show off a magic facade for the Warsaw Stadium and the nearby bridge, the railway bridge in Warsaw. So that's all some international showcases that we use very much in media, and we had a lot of success with them, so we really want to show them off. I want to show you this because it's very interactive and very dynamic. I'm going to put on some sound here, just because this is a sound sensor project. So there are microphones detecting crowd noise like this and processing it around the stadium to the control room. So you can see on the facade on the outside basically the excitement on the inside. Some Nordic showcases. Stockmann stores in Helsinki wanted to replace or needed to replace their neon tubes around their flagship store in Dead Centers Helsinki. 740 meters of neon tubes installed 1987 or something. Really expensive to service and maintain. The LED solution they have now is looking good. Low energy costs, low maintenance costs, and they push a button in December and it will be all red. They don't use it more than for December and for February, where they go yellow for the big sale campaign. But it's a very, very easy or interesting way to use a facade lighting only for some Christmas effects and some event effects. Holmenkollen ski jump is a great example of a Nordic way to do dynamic illuminations. Doesn't have to be colors. So it's cold white LED fixtures all the way from the top to the bottom, 148 pieces. And they have these magic effects that they can use for events or for television shows. These effects actually, as I mentioned before, the linear power saving when you control a modern LED fixture, these effects actually, compared to which one we compare, depending on which one we compare, offers a power saving and also a lifetime add-on, depending on how much you dim down and control your LED fixtures. So it's a very dynamic facade, looking great in the fog. They have fog every day almost, but so you cannot see it every day from the city, but the illuminations look great in the fog if you're close by. So next one up is the Silo 468 in Helsinki. This is an urban art piece. So Tapio and the team with Light Design Collective in Madrid, they won this award or this competition to do something with this silo in Helsinki Harbor. An old and rusty piece of metal. And as mentioned before here, I mean, we have daylight during the summer and we have no daylight during the winter. So they experiment with these holes in the facade of this metal silo. So it's not only an LED art piece that we were a part of, helping him out with the LEDs. It's also a magic art piece summertime in sunlight, because all those holes, you'll soon see them here. My English today. Here, it's amazing to be inside, and the sunlight comes through over 1900 holes in the metal. These guys here cut out these holes. The metal in the silo was actually 2 centimeters thick at the bottom, and then thinner going up to the top. I will skip forward a little bit here. Now this silo is interactive. The only sensor it has 2 sensors. One for temperature, and it also listens to RSS feeds from the internet. So depending on weather information coming from RSS feeds, the LEDs on the facade will do different effects. The temperature sensor has to be, we can have temperature from RSS feeds from the internet, but we needed local temperature outside, to be sure that if the temperature drops below -20 or 25 degrees and we have really bad weather, then we will leave the LEDs on daytime, so they won't collect any ice and snow. So it's a security system or safety system. So if you visit Helsinki, make sure you visit this silo. It's amazing. Some projects that we are working on right now. This is the shopping center, where they have these sun shading or art facade looking like trees. So we have helped them with this growing tree design. So the trees, this is double speed by the way, so it's supposed to be half this speed. The trees are growing from the right to the left, and they fade from the left to the right. So this will make a dynamic.
Where is this?
This is in the Baltics. It's not official yet, so I cannot give you the details, but it's in the Baltic area. I will show you again. So this will only be used nighttime, of course. Daytime they already have what they want. It looks great, and the shadows from these sun shading trees looks amazing on the inside. Another one, a multisport arena in Uppsala, Sweden, where they have this very popular transparent facade system. It's a plastic facade, semi-transparent. You can have it in many different transparencies, but this is like milk plastic, diffused, opal white, you could say. So we had to experiment with the amount of light needed to create what they wanted. So fixtures are installed in 3 different levels, horizontal levels. And with this control system, they are able to control the levels individually, so they can, for example, create a setup looking like a flag for those countries who have those striped flags. Norway, the city of Bergen, they have these facades, similar facades, not exactly the same, but very similar facades all the way around the city center, square. They call it Torgallmenningen. This old facade system which is not installed on all facades, is some kind of floodlights, and they are installed too close to the facade, so you can see the top of the facade is basically just shadows from these horizontal things coming out from the facade. So we did a mock-up there last year, where we, with this special camera, could prove that we could illuminate the facade very evenly from the same positions from the bottom, but 40 centimeters or 45 centimeters out from the facade was what we needed to have as small shadow as possible for the top piece of the facade. And they will use dynamic white fixtures so they can control the color temperature, and a very simple control system where anybody can log in, anybody within the city maintenance service, of course, or the building owners around the city square. This is how it looks, by the way. So it's a very long square with a lot of facades all the way around. You can click in here, enter the control system. You see the facades and the number of the facades. You can click on a building. You see an image of it. You can set the color temperature and the brightness. Super simple. They didn't need anything more than this. You can click on another building, see the image, set temperature and brightness. If you go back to the main picture, if you have changed anything on building number 14, you will be aware. So if you change again here on the main side, it will be all synchronized again. Super simple, custom made, exactly what they want. So I've shown you 12 showcases, 12 examples of dynamic illumination. I think they have something in common. They all have something important in common. This is 11 pictures, so one is missing. Which one? Oh, never mind. It's the growing trees, by the way. They have something in common. It's LED illuminated. That's quite amazing. There are some examples here, non-LED. I can point them out for you. The beams over the crystal halls here is metal halide projectors, so that's not LED. There's a street light here in Azerbaijan. That's not LED. Also, of course, the city of Warsaw here. I don't know the situation there. This ceiling at Stockman's store is still fluorescent tube, and there's also a sodium street light. But I mean, overall, there's a lot of LED illumination here. But that's not what I want to point out what they have in common. So I say all of these are landmarks in one way or the other. Even a shopping mall in Helsinki, at least Stockman's store in Dead Center, would be considered a landmark. If you Google the word landmark and look at Wikipedia, for example, these 3 images will be the first that pops up. So a landmark, of course, many years ago was something else, or still is, to navigate or to find your way. But if you look at more modern images, the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Towers, I mean, landmarks still helps us to navigate. Maybe you say turn right at the Eiffel Tower and go left, and you will find me on Street 57. To navigate, to invite friends, but also to find your way home. If you live in Paris, the Eiffel Tower is a big part of your hometown and where you live. If you remove the Statue of Liberty from New York, people will leave a part of their soul or something, I guess. And we don't want this. I mean, this is the only landmarks we will have unless we take care of the landmarks we have and create some great illuminations. It shouldn't be dark or non-illuminated, at least. So again, my long email address. I have a short one if you need to make a shorter note. I want to end this, summarize this, that I want to be part of this business, to be a part of saving the world. It doesn't sound right now after Johan's LED, but at least illuminating great pieces of architecture in a dynamic way, making it more beautiful and more nice to look at. That's also a part of saving the world. It doesn't have to be lower energy costs. We want to do it in style and have fun doing it. That's the end of my presentation. So, thank you very much. Saved some time. I was too quick. I already ended. Yes.
God. I'm so busy. So thank you very much for this. Now everything is open for questions. And I encourage you to use the opportunity when we have specialists like this. I will use the microphone. Yes, do. Haraldur? Halldór, hvað er að mér? Ég er svo stressuð yfir þessu öllu saman.
So thank you for a nice presentation. Where does wrong question. What is the sort of the where does it end? What is like the ultimate media facade in your opinion? Are we going towards the movies where we are recognized while walking by a building? Will building talk to us, or?
Yeah, I mean, the interactiveness. I mean, it could be it could be very interactive, of course. You can be recognized. We actually did an experiment for the World Design Capital event in Helsinki, where we added a Kinect sensor. You know, the Microsoft Kinect system. It's supposed to be a game for kids, but the sensor technique is actually designed not only for games. So that was like a shop window where the sensor detects you when you stand outside. So the illuminations change regarding how you move and what you do. So I mean, I'm sure, I also saw the TV the other day that there will be shop windows talking back to you from face recognition sensors. So I guess it's unlimited in many ways, but my opinion would be that they more and more detect you and who you are. Maybe it will be an app in your phone, and if you park your car outside a shopping mall and you walk towards the entrance, maybe you will have a different experience compared to if it's a kid or if it's so. Good question. I think it's pretty much unlimited.
It's very inspiring to see all these possibilities. And you start wondering what can we do here? We have Harpan that is all lit up, and they are sometimes doing that with sounds of music, and there are possibilities in her.
The customs house is also lit up now by Dario.
Yes.
He's here somewhere. There, yeah. And I mean, that's a good example. We all think that, I mean, it doesn't take much to make a building come a lot more to life than it was before.
And as the silo, absolutely beautiful, and we have lots of that here in Iceland. So we're not going to steal the project.
Very ironic the other day, because the demo fixtures that we used for the customs house, they got stuck in customs. So the first night we had no fixtures for it.
Also, when you think about Perlan, which is built on many of these like silos. What can we do about that? Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Any more questions?
Any more questions? Yes? Come down. can you come down? Thank you.
Hi, I'm from Norway, by the way. Thank you for all the jokes.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sure you will give it back to me.
No, not this time. I was thinking there's a lot of beautiful buildings, but I'm afraid that we're going to go like Asia. You know what I mean? So how are we going to pretend? Try to keep our cities with not so much lighting pollution, and how do we deal with the hierarchy of what's important in night? Which building are supposed to be lit? Have you had any thoughts about this when you get customers, or do you talk about this with the city council, or how does this going to be in the future? That's what I'm wondering.
Basically, I mean, the region that I and my team covers for the 8 countries, it's similar situations in all cities where there are regulations, and we see differences between Oslo and Copenhagen, for example. I mean, there are always regulations and recommendations, like Johan talked about before too. I mean, as long as those regulations exist in one way or the other, I don't see a big risk to go Asian or Las Vegas. And there is so much darkness and so much that can be done before it goes over the limit, if you ask me. But I think that question needs to be asked more specific to each and every city, I guess. But
Yeah. We just talked about it earlier, about how do you say it, the limitation in brightness, or should we have some sort of a roof? Because, yes, sometimes you don't want to have so much light. Any more questions?
okay.
Halldór, you have one?
I always have. What about the cost environment? Because I mean, this is new technology, and this is basically a revolution. When do you think we will see the cost environment sort of settle into something that's going to be stable? Because the solutions are still relatively expensive, yeah?
Yeah. That's a very big part of the design in the beginning of the process. I mean, as soon as there is a budget to fit inside the design will be adjusted to fit the budget, and I guess the cost has to be accepted very early, and it's very different from different regions and different countries, of course. But
are you seeing some stability in the technology? I mean, are we still taking leaps in terms of progress, or is it sort of stabling down a little bit, or?
I'm not too involved in the actual development of the technology. That's out of my knowledge, actually. But only the example with the latest generation of fixtures, where you get high quality, like some high quality components inside to offer a good setup, is basically the latest information that I have and that I talk about when I'm out like this. But I guess the development is very fast still, and it will probably be for some years to go.
It's okay. So I love these ideas, these interactive ideas, like the bulb that marks the pulse, and like the photo booth that Johan showed us earlier. So I think this all makes life so much more fun. So thank you very much, Henning. And I want to give you